Right, guys, we're here at another relaunch of the Business Hustle, and we're here with Chris and myself from Surge Agency, and we're a performance marketing company, and we're ready to blow this podcast up with some cool information. So today, we want to kick off by talking about strategy on posting, how important it is. I know we all get busy, we all post ad hocly at times. I've certainly done that also. But I also have realised without a strategy of start, middle and end, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just sort of same story, different day type of thing. So Chris, how important is it to have a strategy for your social posting? Now, we're talking about social posting, which goes into who's your target market and all that. So everything's relevant. So let's in some shape or form cohesively pull some quality information that gives the viewers something tangible to work with.
Yeah, so if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, what you're saying there, Henry, sporadically post like a Monday, a Saturday, a Wednesday, and you fit it in whenever you can. I know so many people that do that. I've been very guilty of doing that in the past as well, because what tends to happen is you get busy in your business and it pulls you away from what you would consider as a luxury item. Yeah. And a lot of people view marketing as well as a luxury item that you can come and you can step in, fill up your pipeline and then come away again and get on with your work. But the thing is that any good business that we've ever worked with, running a proper pipeline where you're starting with content and you know where you're going to be in 6 months' time. You know the people that you're going to build into the pipeline as you go. And for me, it's super important to be developing content that's not just for this month, it's for 6 months ahead, 12 months ahead, and you're thinking about your customer in that process of their buying journey from you, because not everybody's going to buy from you on day one.
Nope.
So what they want to do is find out a little bit more about you, see how your customers behave with you, see how your product lasts or your service lasts. And for me, it's really important to develop a customer journey along the way. So whenever you look at any of our posts for any of the companies that we work with, we start out with who's your target demographic, who are they, what hurts them, what causes them pain and agitation in their life, and what service and what solution are you providing for them. So whenever you have those two things, you know who you're talking to, what you're talking about. And then the third thing is, how do they access you? How do you give them a way to fall into your funnel, send you an email, get in contact, reach out? Is your profile optimized, and is your CTAs inside your ads properly optimized? That everything is aligning people into a funnel. So there's a clear framework, I think, that a lot of companies maybe sometimes avoid. So if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, well, maybe I don't have all those things. No. That's the important part of spending time to sit down and make a strategy. The good news is you can make this within a couple of hours. It doesn't need to be you spend 3 weeks in a mastermind session away in a jungle thinking about how your business is going to be able to convey all these things. You can do these very quickly. So if you want a proper strategy where it aligns to your business, to your target demographic, and everything that you need to convey who you are as a business, you can do that very quickly. Yeah,
as you said, it starts with, I think, Stephen Covey. I think anything in life, whether it's strategy for posting or life, is that start with the end in mind. And I think to give most people a bit of comfort that most businesses do not have a social strategy which is based around themselves and where they're going as a company. So having all the elements that you've just said there sequentially, but at the thing is that you have to take the time, and that's the hard thing, because you think that taking the time to work out what is the right hook bait that my clients like, what is the right content, what is the content that actually causes the conversation. It's the 3 C's: client, conversation and conversion, and that's how the process is done. But most people don't take the time to sort of work out, because it's like someone said that I was at an event yesterday and someone said to an insurance broker, who is your ideal client? He says somebody who's breathing. and okay, in some very small cases that is true. But the reality is that a lot of us start off when we're in business probably with not the ideal client. The key thing is that if you just get around the same clients, whether you're trading maybe a client at £500 a month, but ideally your service is worth £3,000 a month, you have to have a strategy to hook those guys in, and they bat at a different level. And this is what people need to understand, is that the guys, when we started out, we were doing X amount of £100 websites, and people who were doing lesser websites were getting 5 times the money. What were those guys communicating to that world that we were not? And we had to have the hard conversation. Was our quality better? I believe so. But they had the relationship that actually allowed them to charge 5 times for a website what we were charging back in the day. And that is always the case, but you have to take the time and go, right, strategy is key, content is the next thing. What are the hooks? What is the conversation creators in my content that allows me to go, Jack, boom, I love your content, Henry, blah, blah, blah. What resonated with that? Blah, blah, blah. And do the hard conversation and go, why is nobody engaging?
Yeah, well, we kind of face the same thing even with our own marketing
100%.
agency, is that we started life out, we were doing print 30 years ago, and we were working with smaller businesses, and we felt that we were doing a great job for them, but we were looking across the pond, looking at other options and thinking, how do we get into those markets? And it's literally by spending the time, making a strategy up, working out what you're going to communicate, because people buy from people mostly. So if you're selling a service or a product, people want to see who's behind it, who they can trust. And then whenever you communicate that you, one, have authority in that space, and you know what you're talking about, you know how to deliver a proper service or product. And then after that, it's easier for them to buy. But you have to be visual. You have to show people. You have to take them on a journey. And if you're not taking people on a customer journey from maybe a point of discovery right through to watching testimonials, seeing product comparisons or service comparisons, and showing them that whole journey from top of funnel right down in the bottom of funnel. If you're not doing that and you're not thinking about that and you're just posting sporadic content, probably what you're going to end up getting is a lot of frustration, because it's just going to be sporadic success that you're going to get every now and again. You hit a little vein of the right person at the right time, just because you maybe said something that kind of resonated, but without having that direct journey for somebody. And that's why it's so important to have a strategy and not just post random.
Yeah, even it doesn't have to be a fantastic strategy. Even just to say why. Here are and this I do with some of our clients. We do obviously, in some cases, very bespoke marketing. In some cases, mass marketing, where it's audience driven rather than we're creating obviously an audience for the farm at some stage. The reality is that I say to some of our existing clients, give me the 5 people that you want to deal with outside of the marketing we are doing now. Who are the 5 specifics? And you can get granular like this in regards to, look, these are the couple of doors I've knocked, Henry, for the last 2 years. Can't get the door in. Here's a different avenue. It could be a Loom video. It could be a DM on LinkedIn. It could be, or whatever. It could be a random, it's a fact. Somebody had a class idea. And send somebody a shoe with a bottle of wine. They say, look, I want to get a shoe in the door. You have to be creative with some of those things that actually makes you stand out. Yeah. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, but you have to keep going. And I heard this actually was in Castlecourt the other day, and someone had said that all ad stuff. I see your ads, Henry. That doesn't work for me. And then I hit back on 2 or 3 points, and his wife actually agreed with my sentiments, and I wasn't being facetious or contrary. I was basically trying to open the guy's world, because the guy's obviously maybe hit the big blue button on Facebook and it didn't work, where he didn't say, here's the families I want to genuinely deal with, and here's the strategy over the next 3 months, and suck it up and see.
Yeah, well, for me, like, we started life out as an agency not producing ads. What we were doing is all the beautiful stuff, the websites, the branding, the print production, the things that basically prove credibility for a business, which was beautiful and it was great. And then every business needs to have that element, but you also need to have that element of how do you reach your customer who has maybe never even heard of you. So that we call that a cold audience, which is your top of funnel. And for us, we look at customers along a journey that you have people that are top of funnel that have never ever heard of you, and the only way to reach them isn't by just posting the same stuff that you post all the time. It's by setting a targeted ad that is run out there. And for that customer that you were speaking to in Castlecourt, you can see that if they've maybe pressed the blue button and they've boosted a post
disappointment
without thinking about that journey, about maybe here's a cold audience. What do I need to stop their scroll with? What do I need to then deliver to them that shows them my service or my solution as a business? And then how do I take them along the journey where they start seeing the social proofing about our company, which is the middle funnel content. You would be putting out content that's testimonials, comparison videos, anything that can show people about what you do and how credible you are. And then the bottom of funnel stuff is, here's a special offer. We're going to run 20% off this month. We're going to do 6 giveaways, and you can get in on it now, but it's a time sensitive deal. So if you do those bottom of funnel stuff, that's the stuff that sells. And a lot of people focus too much either on their branding or too much on how they look as a business, and they avoid that whole sales funnel, and they hope that maybe their SDRs are calling the right people, they're sending the right emails out, but everything is all interconnected and it all works together. And if you're thinking about only just one part of your social media messaging or your email outreach, and you're not thinking about how do I run a top of funnel right down to a bottom of funnel system that brings people in, it won't work.
I know it won't work, and this is a wee bit of, it could be a bit of a critique, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I think sometimes when you've got a creative person who's maybe working through the top, middle, and bottom of funnel, is that they focus on the creative, not the message.
Yep.
I actually had seen this in an ad myself last week, where I actually got hooked onto a lovely bit of creative, and the middle of funnel didn't take me anywhere other than, I think, the fixation. And we have all done this, ourselves included, is that we've worked so much on the message or the sales bit and not worked on the hook, or vice versa. And this bit of creative hooked me. And when I went to it, because we were in this game, I actually went, right, okay, I really like this. And I went to the middle funnel, and it basically gave me nothing. It's like they'll run out of petrol. And I went, okay, and I looked at it and I thought, right, okay, I want to go back to some of our stuff and some of the things that we are communicating out and drilling that down. And I know we do in-house training as well, in regards to that the 3 parts of the funnel actually are cohesively working together, and it's so important. But the danger is, if you've got a designer or a lead sort of personality in that, they will always fall in. And that's just a wee bit of critique for you and for us, is that if somebody's got a natural bent toward design, that'll be very precious to them. It mightn't be precious to your audience.
Yeah, well, we've seen that so many times with beautiful looking stuff. It just doesn't work. And for me, if you're watching this right now and you are struggling to post, and maybe you don't have a whole marketing agency behind you, and you're thinking, well, how do I put the right things out there to resonate with my customers? We have a framework which we can send you. If you comment on this post and comment the word framework, what we will do is we'll send you a ChatGPT prompt which will help you develop a mini strategy for everything that you do, and then whenever you want to talk about any sort of post, you can open up this GPT prompt, paste it in, and it'll paste you out then the framework of a good hook, a bit of value proposition, and then a call to action. But instead of it looking like a robot wrote it, it helps you then develop it in your own tone of voice, and it'll ask you a couple of questions about what your business is. And then don't just copy and paste them, because there's nothing worse than a robot writing what your own voice is. Then use that framework, whatever it gives you out, and put it into your own words. But that will absolutely help you develop the right content. So whenever you see any of my posts on LinkedIn, I basically have this one prompt, which I know will hit with the hook, hit with the value, and hit with the call to action. And you'll see it if you scroll down through any of my own LinkedIn posts. They're all done in that same framework. So it's so important to build a framework, and don't just post on feeling that you're posting on an actual framework, thinking about your customer in mind, and thinking about how you put them into your funnel, how to put them into a customer journey with you. But most importantly, be authentic and show who you are as well. Don't just copy and paste the prompt.
Yeah, no, and that's it. And the key thing is, and this is where, especially if you're employing a marketer or someone who's looking after your social. By the way, I find some businesses put too much, and I think it's unfair of some of the larger businesses to put their absolute, not so much trust. The trust is there. Expectation is that these guys can market right, they can design right, they can film right, they can target right, they can email market right. I think it's the reality is, guys, and it's come from a business owner, see if they were that good, they were working for themselves. But so cut them a wee bit of slack out there, but you have to have something that's measurable. It's okay to actually go on to that and you lose a pound. See if you've lost £1 and you've been on 3 months and you've dramatically changed your diet. There's something wrong with the flipping diet. There's something wrong with your metabolism. But you have to do the time to actually make the measurements to go. And it's okay being wrong. And it's okay to say, in fact, Chuck Blakeman said this to us a number of years back. He says, business owners need to be comfortable saying 3 words, I don't know. And I think when you've got a culture of I don't know, at least you can actually move from a place of not knowing to knowing. The key thing is that creatives, lad on, they know. Our own guys included.
Dangerous to know enough.
Yes. You know enough to be flipping dangerous, but if you don't measure it, then you can't go back to the top, middle, or bottom of the funnel. If you have chatted about there earlier, Chris, is that because you have to go back and do the measurement. And it's whether it's finance, marketing, life, you're fat, skinny, or indifferent, or whatever. The reality is that go and measure it and tweak it.
Yeah, well, for me, like even that one thought that you can have a business and they hire a marketing agency versus hiring a marketer inside their company.
Yeah.
And I've seen this so many times that companies get to a certain size and they go, right, we're so busy, we're spending so much money on different agencies or print companies or PR companies. Let's bring it all in-house and let's get one really good marketing guy or girl inside the business. And what they end up doing is they maybe spec out, right, we've got 25 grand a year that we can spend on this, or we've got 30, or we've got 40, or we've got 50 if it's a really good one. And every single time we've seen this, whenever a company bring a marketer inside their business, it's a great idea because every company should have somebody that's focusing on what are we putting out there and what's happening. But what they tend to forget about is that they need somebody who's going to then be able to shoot videos. And you'll always have a marketer with a bent towards one discipline. So it's either they're really good email marketers, maybe they're really good at running ads, maybe they're really good at photography, maybe they're good at writing out PR and press releases, or they're really weak at doing everything all together. And if you hire somebody who's really good at doing everything together, as you say, they'd be working for themselves and then probably have a team under them. But what happens is your 30 grand or your 50 grand budget then becomes an extra 10 for these video shoots over the year, and then it becomes an extra 5 for photographers call outs throughout the year, and then it becomes an extra 15 to 20 for all your ad spend for running all your Facebook ads, and then someone to do all the reporting for it. So all of a sudden your idea of having maybe a 25 grand budget becomes £100,000 or it becomes £200,000 depending on the size of your business. And for me, it's important to have a person like that inside your company. But if you're a small company and you're maybe turning over like 1 or 2 million a year or 3 million a year, having an actual marketing agency gives you maybe 10 different flavors of people inside your business that is basically helping you develop each of these parts of your funnel. So you have an email marketer, you have a video guy, you have a photographer. And for me, it's a massive waste of money. And a lot of companies spend money in this pot whenever they should be thinking the bigger picture.
Yeah, and no doubt. And if I was speaking to an architect a few weeks back, and we were just chatting about content and how this person potentially could come on as a client for us. And he had asked me, based on, he had done exactly what you had said, Chris. They had brought somebody on at 25 grand or whatever, and they run out of petrol. In fact, I actually said, did they run out of petrol after 6 weeks? He says, exactly. How did you know? I says, look, I'm in this game a long time, and it's unfair again. And this is a shout out to all you marketers who are actually pushing your own creativity and your business and stuff out there. But the reality,
they're alone. Yeah, they're on their own.
They're on their own, and they're it's on them. And I don't know too many marketers who are creatives or whatever who are self-taught. You have to stay in the game, sharpen your own instead of banging the tree with the same axe over and over and over. But the key thing is that you know where you're going. And I said this. This person had 30, 40 years of experience in the architectural sort of business. And I just fired, here's the content I would be looking at if I was building a house and I was looking for you. What's different between you and you is that I've wanted your website. Here's the 5 do not do's when you're building your own home. Here's the 5 do not do's when you're because this guy also deals with developers, and you're social proofing, because people at that level whether they're buying a home or doing a development in the developer's world or whatever, they're looking for experience. They're looking for the guys who solve the pain points, who bring the solutions,
Lead them.
who know where they're going, because in any industry, there's problems, problems, problems. And we have found this in the last sort of couple of years, is that we have to put our hands deeper into our pockets. If we are going here in our business, and if you're going there in your business, you have to go deeper. The people who maybe have got you to where you are, maybe are not, and this is not a get them all out type sort of podcast. They may not be the people that will take you there. This is where you're at now. Give them the opportunity, scale. If not, let them house and look after your existing client bases. And if you're going for a higher paying ticketed sort of item, the reality is there could be a higher priced individual who skill themselves up to actually take you there. And that, again, it comes back to strategy. It comes back to, we're all in business to obviously make money and do that, but we also have a responsibility to look after our clients. But if you've got a vision to scale your business and you've got a higher ticketed item, you need to have a strategy, you need to know where you're going, and you need to have the skill set to actually make that happen.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, well, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a bit of a quick fire question. Jackie, you've got a couple of questions that you're going to rattle off to us, and we're going to put them into a box, Henry, of important versus not important inside your business. So Jack's going to ask you a load of questions, and you choose whether or not it's important or not important. So I've put them into two buckets, Jack. One, which is based on business owners and what they're thinking. So I thought that these questions would be good based with you. So crack on with these.
So number one, hiring one 30K marketing person instead of a small team of specialists.
Okay. Small, obviously I'm going to be biased. So there you go. It is my mantra for the last couple of years is that, and I've had this question, why would I not go and get someone at 25 or 30? Here's me, go somebody at 40 grand. They'll still not be as good as us. Full stop.
So it's important.
It's unbelievably important because you know why? We've just discussed it. It's about skill set, video, email marketing, blogs, website. It's unfair. You're not getting anybody at 40 grand at that. Come and get me.
How many followers you have on Instagram versus how many leads and sales you get from it?
It's a vanity metric for me. I know different guys who have got a lot bigger following than me, and forgive me, I get more business. So for me, it's about the transaction. Vanity metrics don't do anything for anybody. The reality is it doesn't put coin. Now, don't get me wrong. I've encouraged guys, look, you need to actually, if you've got said this to someone recently, if you've got 100,000 followers and you're not making any money, get down to 10 and flip and monetize it.
Whenever your agency challenges you and disagrees with you versus just saying yes and sending invoices.
It's important to challenge me or anyone in any business. It's important. I think if I'm not approachable, get rid of me. Leave.
Right, we'll move on to Chris now. So, Chris, the hook and the first 3 seconds of the ad versus the colour of the button.
It's super important. So having a coloured button is really, really important because colour psychology matters. That so many people think that aesthetically it's really nice to put on like a bright purple button on a page, but purple is the colour of luxury. So sometimes that can be, if you're trying to buy like maybe a cheap sale item and it's purple, there's a disconnect between the colours. And then for your hook, my goodness, is that so important. Any post that we make sure that the first 3 seconds is absolutely scroll stop, and if it's not that, we bin the creative because it won't work. So it's super, super important.
Okay, so posting 3 strong pieces of content a week, every week, versus posting a masterpiece once a month.
Okay, so I think it's important to be consistent. So for me, I would rather turn up consistently with content than having one real banger. Now, I know a lot of creators out there who make these beautiful cinematic pieces of content that absolutely are gorgeous to look at, but if they're not turning up on a consistent basis with it, it's only going to have this one impact, versus if you have impacts maybe 5 times a week, you're knocking the door 5 times instead of knocking the door once. So it's super important.
And the last one, having one clear, loud call to action versus cramming 5 different CTAs into the same ad or post.
Okay, so it's really important to have one proper theme to what you're talking about. We have a saying that if you chase too many things, you're going to catch none of them. If you're not focused on what your message is and you're too wishy-washy. So in the past, we would have worked with companies that had maybe 60 or 70 different services inside their business, and it's overwhelming. And because as a customer, and even us as an agency looking at all their different services, it's overwhelming to know which one for which person and how is it going to connect those people. So pick one subject or one hook or one call to action and run with it per vertical of inside your business. Don't overwhelm people, or else you'll just lose them in the melee.
And I'll ask you one last question. Each of us, what's a win of the month for you?
I think everything's a win if you learn.
Yeah, well, for me, we've had a couple of ad accounts that we have taken over, and their cost per acquisitions were maybe at a certain level, and we want to get them down to a certain level. And seeing that over the last couple of weeks and seeing leads coming in for our customers, I always take it as a win. It makes me happy to watch sales coming in for customers that we are involved in, that we have maybe made the creative. It's been advertised to the right people, and it's brought the right people into a sale, and they've ultimately got happy customers. So for me, whenever I see that happen, it puts a massive smile on my face, and it's a win.
Amen.
Okay, so thank you for listening this far, and we are the Surge Agency. We're part of Creative 3 Media. We are a performance-based marketing company based here in Belfast City Centre. If you're looking to grow your business, you're watching some of these clips right now, and you're thinking, flip, I need to do something with my own ads or my own marketing. We can absolutely help you. We will do a strategy session with you. We'll go through your ads. We'll look at what your competitors are running as ads. And we will help you get focused for 2026 on how you can take your business from wherever you are now to wherever you want to scale.
And wherever you are now and wherever you are in the world, trains, planes, automobiles, we have been on them all, and we want our clients to win.